Hey, how's it going? We are live on LinkedIn and YouTube right now. Thank you for tuning in. We are going to have an absolutely mind blowing session here in J&M Linky Live, which is the name of our live broadcast every week, every Thursday. Be sure to tune in. Last week we had Jillian Deedle. Um, in her 8 years career, she has sold $30 million USD in software sales. So absolutely mind blowing guest last week. Next week, stay tuned for another great and mind blowing guest also. So the man of the hour is nothing than our good friend Neal. He is a life coach with the Wealth Matrix. He has a very cool website, so go check it out. Check out his profile. It's all about building wealth, but also about really pertaining to the core values of life coaching, and that's what he does. It's a mixture of spirituality, neuroscience that he has in his strategy. So looking forward to really getting down um, this road with him. But before we start, if you have any questions for the viewers here, if you have any questions for Neal, please let him know. And also, please let us know if you are here. If you're just watching on the sidelines, that's okay. If you're at work, that's okay. Just let us know. Just drop in a hi and just drop in where you are from. Awesome. Without further ado, let's get right into it. The man of the hour is Near Falora. He is a mind blowing life coach that uses all sorts of strategy to build wealth. So, um, just take us down this journey of yours. How did you get started in the first place down this very impactful journey of yours, my friend?
Yeah, so I mean, I think it's important to say that my family came from the base of the Himalayas, from dirt floor poverty. My dad literally grew up with sort of to be a little bit too much information. Sort of a hole in the ground for a toilet. Literally, that's where he came from, and so um, coming to the United States here and building a new life, I began to see, a lot of the different factors coming here, being an Indian living in an auto manufacturing town where a lot of people were actually doing better than we were, in spite of the fact that my dad had a lot of doctoral degrees, and that I started to see even where his mindset was limiting him some because he came from poverty, and a lot of things were just about scarcity and fear, right? And as I began this journey as a mindset guy, I mean, since the age of 5, I was somebody who was saying, "Why can't you be happy with what you have?" And understanding that life is more than just what we accumulate. But how do the two start to interplay? And so, in uncovering my own money story, my own healing journey, I began to see where the wealth actually flows from in us, out of us. Most people, when they're trying to accumulate wealth, they're trying to go and get it, but it's never enough until you are, and it's not sustainable until you create a sustainable place in yourself.
Yeah, absolutely agree. It's like unlocking all these different crevices of your psyche to really attain the success that you want, right? Obviously, and sometimes this takes years. Sometimes this takes a matter of months, but depending on on the amount of work that you need personally, right, Neil?
Yes.
So,
Yes.
um, just give us the concept behind like the wealth matrix. I know that it's a fantastic community, right? So, like, what do you specifically do to liberate people, so to speak?
Yeah, well, what I kind of got tired of is the overall story that happens time and time again, that in 17 months somebody gets a bunch of money, they buy the G wagon, they get the penthouse apartment, and then and this is true life stories, would never reveal any names, and then in 3 to 5 months they're standing on the edge of the balcony wondering if any of this is worth it and where they
Mhm.
come from. And I also want to clarify that money and success is not evil. It doesn't make us worse, but you have to do the work. It has if you don't work, it doesn't, right? So the community of the wealth matrix are like-minded people who know that relationships, that connection, that fulfillment, that worthiness, that revenue, that a living a very time freedom, money freedom, health freedom, all those things are important. And that's why I call it a matrix rather than like just a revenue number, because a
Mm,
dollar figure will not increase your worth. It alone will not put you in the place that you want to be.
mm. Yeah, Ve- very, very true. I mean, like, you see many companies, business owners, you see many different individuals just like after the great and holy dollar, so to speak, right? So, where do you think this, mm, like, instead of working in our qualities within to become wealthy, where do you think this money hunger, like a world, stems from? Like, what are your thoughts around that?
Yeah, wow, that's like its own 2-hour episode, right, guys? We don't have enough drinks here for all that. But what I would say, in a really basic level, is that we forget where we come from, right? I'll just give you a very simple, tangible example to anybody who's watching. I previous to this career, I used to be in a biz dev career, and was in a lot of medium size, small size companies that were outside my bigger clients. And what I would see is that they would start with the vision. They would start with the impact. They were going to change the world. They had amazing ideas. A lot of stuff was like non-disclosure. I couldn't talk about it because they were industry changing things. And then they got to a place where they started getting a little bit of success. The revenue came in, and what happened? The air started coming out of the room, and they started playing instead of playing for impact and playing for vision. They were playing not to lose because now they had something, and it's like we don't want to lose that now
Yeah.
to answer the question
Amazing.
succinctly, we come into this world with abundance. When we grow up, we our operating system becomes fear and scarcity. And when you're operating from fear and scarcity, it's ironic, but I know multimillionaires, billionaires. I have another friend who mentors them well, and they play a lot from a place of risk mitigation rather than living in abundance and freedom.
Mhm.
Wow,
Mm.
amazing, amazing. So, like along those lines, like with all these like these combative notions about making money and about like really struggling and combating that notion where everybody's out to get the almighty buck, and like you said, to get to the place where they are actually making money, but then their attitude changes. L- like, what should we keep in mind? Let's say if we get successful, right?
Right.
So how do you help your clients stay grounded and keep humble and just like,
Yep. Great
okay,
question.
this might be a phase, but don't play because of fear of loss. Play because you want to help more people. How do you help your clients like do that?
Yeah, so I have I'll just give it away for free here, but I have something that I work that's really powerful. So we do everything for the experience. And it used to crack me up because salespeople, I was in big boardrooms all around the world, and they'd always be like, we're going to decide this over a rubric and SWOT analysis and all these things. But at the end of the day, three-fourths of the meeting always was, what are we going to create? What is the emotion? What is the feel? Right? Because we know that people buy on emotion and then they justify with logic, right? Well, if we flip that to where people are at, I coach people into using the visualization tools, using the experiential tools to what do you want to create? We should always be asking the question, what am I doing and why am I doing it? Right. And
Yep.
so if you're creating money for money's sake, it's never going to do anything for you. But if you're grounding down on the 3 to 5 words. I was just coaching a client today who was giving a huge organizational speech on some mergers and acquisitions. I was like, find the 3 to 5 words that you want to create in this experience, ground down into them, and be that person when you're in there, right? And that, guys, is a practice skill. Happiness,
Mhm.
enjoyment, all these things. You can't you can't hustle your whole life, have the regrets of the dying, give up your time freedom, your health freedom, your mental relationship, your mental awareness, and your relationships and your health, and then wake up one day and go, "I did it. I accomplished it. Now I want to enjoy life." You can't just turn it on like that, right? Um, yeah. So fundamentally, it's about an and conversation. You've got to do the work and build the wealth at the same time. If you just focus on one, that's all you'll get.
Amazing. Bit of a follow-up question to that one, Neil, if it's okay. So, what like tangible benefits would someone get from working with a life coach in relation to building net worth?
Great question. And I'm glad you asked that. So from the way that I work is that so many people are in complete burnout. It has destroyed their health. It destroys their relationships. I have been on a call with a guy with 300 reports and millions in the bank who told me if I could write a check so that his life would be different, he would write it for all of it. Right. So the tangible benefits is that you get to expand, but you learn to take care of yourself and let the slow down be the catch up in a way that
Hmm.
you don't get sick, that you actually can create more sustainable wealth. I'm just telling people it's the sustainability that I'm talking about with people, right? Not that you get a quick pop and then you go down, you quick pop and you go down. How do you know where you are when you're out of alignment to get back into it? Because that's the human journey. We're never going to be always in the zone of where we have it all going on. We're going to fall away. But the time it takes you to get back there, if you can quantify that, which I can, how long it takes you back there, that, as we say in business, time is money. How
Yep.
long are you spending in burnout? Because all these people that are bro culture that get shit done and hustle and all this stuff, right?
Yeah.
They're lying. They're burning out. They're
Yeah.
not giving us the true message of what they're doing. So quantifiably, your take home is that when you can shorten that distance and you can have the downtime to create. Most wealthy people don't are not taking the time to ground down into their genius so that they
Mhm.
can create more of that. They're
Hmm.
just hustling to the
Wow,
next
that's
sale,
great.
the next thing, right? You can
Yeah.
get groundbreaking partnerships, ideas if you can learn to slow down
Mhm.
and take the next expansion.
Yeah. Exactly.
I love that. Love that.
So for the 15 people who are watching on in total, who are watching on LinkedIn and YouTube, please let us know you're here. If you had any questions for Neil, now is your chance to ask questions about your business, about your personal relationships, um, um, about your relationships with your business partners, about any type of relationships in networking, also, because he specializes in that also. So now's your chance. Please ask your question, and then Neil will get to it 100%. So again, Neil, so many people say they want to help. Many people say they want to have impact, but then when it comes to like actually executing this, they get lost,
Yeah.
obviously, right? And
Hmm.
so um and a lot of it has to do with time management, right? And focusing
Mhm.
on activities that they need to focus on in order to be successful, right? So do
Hmm.
you have any tips on how to organize time in order to have that impact, and at the same time work less with more results, create brilliant relationships with our family, and so on and so forth?
Man, we didn't. For those people watching or watching the replay, we didn't plan any of this, but you guys are just nailing every question. I just like I fed you questions or something, but we just let it be organic. So this is one of the things I love to do this work with clients. And this is huge. Is that the industry tells us get Pomodoro, right? Get another block times, all that stuff. I'm not downing it, not poo pooing it, But at the end of the day, you are the most precious resource in your business. And
Hmm.
unless you can find more ways to do only the things that matter, I'll give you a quick story. I was on a call with a guy, and he was telling me the same thing I hear a lot. He's like, I'm working from morning till evening. We're thinking about having a kid. I just don't know where I'd get any more time. And he's married, he's happily married. And I said, look, and he's successful. I said, let's just pretend for a second. I said that your wife has a serious illness and that you need to spend most of your time taking care of her, but you get 3 to 4 hours a day to make the money so that she can have the treatment. I said, are you going to get it done? He just looked at me and he's like, yeah, yeah, I would. He goes, yeah, yeah. I absolutely would. I was like,
Hmm.
I said, then those 3 to 4 hours, you're doing what matters. And for entrepreneurs, for business people, for the way in which information is so available, the things that we're seeing that we think we need to do, they're too numerous. They're not survivable, right? But if you focus your attention and intention on the things that matter, what you'll start to discover is, like how we have all these phones here that have the apps running in the background, you'll start to swipe close many, many things. And one of the exercises I do with people, I tell people is I want you to focus each week and make a list, not a to-do list, but with the things that you no longer want to do or should be doing
Nice.
weekly,
Wow.
weekly,
Amazing.
that it's going
That's
to make
awesome.
you bleed. It's going to make you hemorrhage. But just like that person, you realize in an emergent situation, wow, all of these things really didn't make a difference.
Mm, amazing. Yeah, for sure.
Love that.
and and I mean, like, obviously with that, I love that tip about, like, not making a list of things that you don't want to do, because
Yeah.
many of us get, maybe because of mindset issues, we procrastinate, right? We
Hmm.
procrastinate in the uncomfortable things that we need to do in order to grow. And I've been through struggles, Mark, everyone's been through that struggles
Sure.
where we procrastinate on the things that we need to do because they're uncomfortable to do so, because we need to do them to grow, right? Obviously. So so like, in terms of, like, practical value, like in time organization, what do you, like, suggest to your clients? Like, do they follow like a regimen, or is it much more like a flexible, depending on their circumstance, um, kind of of things? And the second part of this question: how does, like, stopping and smelling the roses, and so to speak, in your life,
Hmm.
or how does, like, maybe even, um, spending, like, quality time together as a family, bear into this? Do you
Yeah,
think?
let me ask answer your first part of your question, then I'll
Sure.
get a little clarification on the second. So, as far as a regimen is concerned, what I would say the most important things that people should be doing occur at the beginning and end of the day, and then it's the small amount of maintenance before. Look, we can't deny the fact that we are biological creatures, right? And if by the time you're 30 years old, 95% of how you're going to react in any situation is a program. It's back here. We all get really jumped up by the fact like, yo, I know what to do and I'm a free will person, but we're mostly not. We're mostly reacting from program. But
Hmm.
here's the upside. You program yourself up until this point, you can reprogram it. And we get access. We get that window just as we're coming
Wow,
out of sleep,
amazing.
when we're coming out of sleep, and that's the time to meditate, to journal, to never touch a device, to watch a mind movie, to visualization, being a dreamer, visualizing. That's what kids do. They
Mm,
invent whole worlds, and we
Hmm.
forget where we come from. And then you do the same kind of process at night. Now, more on the tactical level, where people are not doing is that your next day starts the evening before. And I teach people how to be a student of their
nice.
day and their calendar. Here's the
Nice.
portion that most people don't teach is that in your calendar, when you're looking at your calendar, it should also include what do I need to get from point A to B? How much time do I need to get ready? If I'm getting on a really, really important
Oh,
call, do I have don't schedule your calls back to back. Do I have 5 to 7 minutes to meditate, to ground, to center, to decide
Hmm.
what I want to create, right? What do I want to give on these calls? It's
Mm,
that energetic. And
yeah,
so having
full.
2 to 3 set points during the day where you breathe and you meditate in. I do this with my clients at the beginning of every call, and they love it. It's 3 minutes, 4 minutes of a meditation of centering. But imagine if you did that throughout the day, your energy level, I promise you, would be somewhere between 15 and 30% better throughout the day.
Wow.
Amazing, amazing. Yeah.
Follow-up question, if that's okay, talking about energy levels and things like that. So I wanted to touch base on limiting beliefs. Like, obviously, some people struggle with limiting beliefs, thinking that they can't find their next client or they can't find the next sale or they're not sure what direction to go. Like, how would, obviously, what you do benefit them and help them build their wealth up?
Hmm. So the one limiting beliefs are about thinking, but limiting beliefs are also about feeling. And in fact,
Hmm.
I don't know if it was Think or Grow Rich, one of the books that Napoleon Hill put out, um, he called it Think Feeling. So I just want to be clear, there is no thinking without feeling. And when we talk about
Mm,
limiting beliefs, we need to talk about limiting feelings. And so,
beautiful.
so even when you said procrastination, most people say procrastination is you're not disciplined, dude. You just don't have the willpower, all that stuff. It's none of that. It is procrastination is one thing and one thing only, and it goes true for limiting beliefs as well. It's not wanting to deal with not wanting to deal with unwanted emotions, right? We get in the
Mm,
cycle. We delay the thing because it gives us an emotional reprieve. We get a dopamine hit. This is a neuroscience. Oh,
Hmm.
I put it off. Now I don't have to think about it or feel about it. What they should be saying is I don't have to feel about it. In fact, in any sales
mm,
conversation, most of the time when your prospect is saying I don't think, I say I don't, I'm not, I think, just substitute I feel. So when it comes to limiting beliefs, we have people name the emotion. We have people put what they're feeling, right? And then
mm,
where are we feeling it?
beautiful.
And here's the thing we don't just do cancel bro culture and go screw fear, all that stuff, blank, whatever. You develop a different relationship with the emotion. You ask it why it's here, what is it protecting you from, what does it want you to know, and then you be the main adult personality. And instead of leave, the reason it keeps coming back is because you keep leaving it. Look, you take fear to the ledge's edge, you hold its hand and go, buddy, in the past, I blew it. I left you behind. Yes, you were trying to protect me. You did a great job, but guess what? I got you now, and we're going to do this together. And you do that multiple times until fear and scarcity, all these things, start seeing, you know what? He's got it. He's got it. He's got us. We don't have to be so hyper vigilant. That's what adults are doing. Is it safe?
Love
Is
that.
it safe? Am I gonna
Love
something's gonna happen to me, right? We get into hypervigilance and then our emotions get out of control.
Hmm.
That's
So
a,
it's
mm,
very
that's a limiting
similar.
belief.
Sorry,
Right.
apologies. So it's
Go.
very similar to like stretching your comfort zone. So say something is slightly outside your comfort zone and you're expanding that comfort zone. And when you step into that next area, you expand it again and it becomes bigger and bigger, right? Is that what you're saying?
It very much is. We need to create a different container for this. This is the same thing why do 70% of people who win the lottery go bankrupt? It's because they
Hmm.
don't, or people get a quick success, then implode. It's not the fact that it's the money. They don't have the mental, physical, and nervous system container to contain it, right? You
mm.
need to create
Makes a lot of
the version of
sense.
you that understands and becomes the future avatar. When you haven't done the work to become the avatar, the person who can wake up, how does he exercise? How does he deal with adversity? How does he deal with his money success? You're not become that person, then the money is not going to get you
Yeah, yeah.
there.
So, like another question, I know that many people have different stigmas and notions about this, different thoughts about this, but I just wanted to get your point of view. The, the notion between those people who work alone, right,
Mhm.
and have the fortitude to do so, but maybe they're experimenting a lot. Maybe they go through trials. Maybe they're um, want to experiment more in that regard, but are facing limiting beliefs, to those who value networking, those who value collaborating, to those who value all those kind of things to get to their goals. Now, I'm definitely the second one. Obviously, right?
Yeah,
I
me
believe in
too.
collaboration, I believe in networking, but which one is necessarily like better? And it, are these people just like the people who want to be alone? Do they really enjoy being alone and experimenting and suffering in silence? Or, I mean, this is kind of a polarizing question, obviously. So, what is your opinion about that?
Let's go. This is a great question. Let's go. This is I love to talk about this too. So I'll reflect it sort of you can call it self-reflecting question. Why would the World Health Organization, and you know when the Health Organization publishes something that has become to the forefront of it's really become a challenge, say that loneliness has become the biggest epidemic on earth and it's akin to smoking 15 cigarettes a day, right? So they're recognizing something that we in the brain community and the spiritual community have known for a long time. Now, here's what I'll say for people, we need time with ourselves. Tom Bilyeu said it best on his podcast and stuff. He said, how you feel about yourself, the most important thing is how you feel about yourself when you're by yourself. So having alone time is extremely important. But most of us don't know how to be alone with ourselves. That's why we have all the distractions that we can buy into. So some people who like to work with them by themselves, I think it's good, but I do know, and I say the word know, not think, that our nervous system is set up for connection. And in fact, the biggest nerve that runs to all of our organs is called the vagus nerve. It's also called the social nerve. We need eye contact, eye contact. We need touch. I touch my kids 30, 40 times a day. When you adults don't like to hug, not because they don't like it, but because when you don't get what you need, it feels doesn't feel good, right? The problem with with getting back into networking, getting back into connection, getting back into being with people is that
Hmm.
once you create a habit that's outside of that, then it feels uncomfortable. It's actually something that you don't enjoy, and for some of those people, it can become a real problem for them. Right? They say that they prefer to be alone, but most of those people don't understand the connection that they really need, and that is in my version of wealth. Community is probably one of the highest values. Yeah,
Awesome, awesome.
Amazing.
yeah.
Awesome.
Great.
So thank you for joining us. It's going to be short and sweet and very impactful. So, Mark, any other wrapping up questions for Neil that you had?
No, to be honest, I just wanted to obviously mention that last point that Neil just made about community being everything. I think that's probably the one of the best statements, and the limited beliefs and the emotions being connected to that. That's a great takeaway for me personally, and probably for a lot of people in the audience. So that's probably two amazing things which have been mentioned in this event here. And Neil, all I can do, we appreciate your time. We thank you for joining us today. It was always a pleasure to have you, and it's a pleasure to chat with you. And then to the audience who are watching now or watching the replay, we thank you for getting to the end and watching through. We hope you found some value. And if you wanted to connect with Neil and send him some further questions, if you didn't send them in the chat or haven't connected yet, then please feel free to do so.
Mhm.
Eh,
Thanks.
Wonderful. And can I just
yeah,
say,
sure,
Mark
go ahead.
and Jordan, you guys have been amazing. The short time that I've known you guys, it's just been so uplifting. You guys are all about community. And what I can say is a definable measure of revenue and wealth is that your ability to ask for help, right? And that's what a community does.
Beautiful.
And that's what you guys have already done for me as well. You've provided me help, right? And if you can't connect with other people, you won't be able to up level yourself because most people have such a barrier, the limiting belief of asking for help. So you guys have been amazing.
Beautiful. Th- Thank you very much, Neil. And with those glorious words, how can they reach you, Neil? Let's say if they want to book a call with you, what do they do? specifically, do they look you up on Facebook? Do they look you up on LinkedIn? Or can you tell them how to specifically get in contact with you?
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm most active on Instagram and LinkedIn, right? You can always send me a message there, or I can leave a link here below in our chat for a call. I don't do anything out of high pressure. I only work with people that I'm aligned with, right? And that also want to
Mm,
do the work. So it's a magnet strategy, not a go after strategy in my world. But yeah, if
awesome.
you're looking to create sustainable wealth in your world and you want to know how, let's talk.
Awesome, awesome. Well,
I mean,
thank you very much, guys. Thank you very much, Neil. Looking forward to our future collaborations. Thank you very
Uh,
much, Mark, once again. It was a great session, great, short and sweet, but powerful. Thank you very much, Neil. And we shall see you soon, guys. Bye bye.
there you
Thanks,
go.
guys.
Until next week.
See you
Bye.
later.